Here we go. Hey guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have another musician. This one has an impressive resume. Despite having autism, he's able to collaborate with several notable musicians, many of which are music legends. He's one of the last people to work with David Bowie collaborator Lindsay Kemp, who was a dancer. He advocates regularly for digital dependency awareness, and one concept I find extremely impressive on his end is he produced a whole album inspired by the works of Shakespeare and in collaboration with several Shakespearean actors. His name is Tim Arnold. Thanks for coming on, Tim.
Hey, Caden. Great to meet you finally in person.
Great to meet you. My first question that I ask all my guests is, for those that don't know the name Tim Arnold, what's your story in your own words?
Oh my goodness. What's my story? Well, I started making music when I was a kid, and my mum is a singer and an actress, so I grew up in a theatrical family, but not a posh theatrical family, kind of artsy theatrical family. And I started making music very young, and I signed a record deal in the 1990s with Sony, and that started my journey in music, I suppose. And not long after that, I began my own record label so that I could have creative control and creative autonomy over everything that I do. And that's been amazing, difficult, but really amazing as well. And I've made over 25 albums in the last 20 years. And I often make music about specific concepts and quite often collaborate with actors. And I make films as well. I've been making my own music videos for the last, 10, 15 years. And more recently, a feature-length film for my latest album, Super Connected.
Oh, that's amazing. That's definitely an impressive resume, like I said in the beginning. My next question for you is, how do you think autism and having autism has helped you in your creative process?
Well, I was late diagnosis, so I didn't realize until quite late in life that I was autistic, but I've had a lot of people that had suggested it for many years. And when I look back on it, I now see that it's been a very helpful condition because of the nature of the music industry, which is incredibly concerned with metrics, right? And commercialism and what everyone else is doing. Whereas my relationship with music has always been something I prioritized on the way it made me feel, my well-being. So even when something very exciting might be offered to me or come my way, if it doesn't feel like the way I like making music alone, I tend not to do it. So I've had a very unconventional trajectory. And I think that has a lot to do with my autism, because my priority with music is my relationship with it rather than my relationship with the rest of the world and what my music is in that regard. It matters. I'm a performer, but it has to matter first and foremost when I'm alone with music first. And I think it was a coping mechanism when I was a child, to be honest.
I respect that. That's the problem with the music industry these days. Everyone prioritizes the money aspect of it when they should really prioritize making art and having fun with it. I'm a musician myself, and I used to have a phase where I wanted to be a musician, but I realized that I should be really doing it for my own mental well-being. So I admire that perspective. My next question for you is, you've worked with Lindsay Kemp, who was a collaborator of David Bowie and Kate Bush. In fact, he helped to create the Ziggy Stardust concept. Do you have a memory of working with Lindsay that you want to share, or a story?
Oh, so many memories of Lindsay. I mean, he was he was a very special human being, and I feel very lucky that I worked with him before he passed away. And uh, I think probably the best memory I have is not we worked together, and he, I directed him in a video, and he interpreted one of my songs with his mime. But my favorite memory was arriving in Italy, I think, for my 41st birthday, and to meet him. And he made me a birthday cake. And he greeted me with a birthday cake with a kind of, he was a dancer. So it's kind of special having somebody like Lindsay dance into a room with a birthday cake on your birthday. It's my favorite memory.
Yeah, that's definitely special. How did it not fall over, the birthday cake? How big was it?
Well, I mean, it's very good with his balance. As you'll see if you watch any of the footage and videos of his work.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's impressive. My next question for you is: you advocate a lot for screen dependency awareness in the UK specifically and worldwide. Honestly, do you want to go into a little bit of detail on that and where that advocacy came from?
Yeah, I was touring again in Italy in 2017, and a friend of mine who was a fan of my music that became a friend is a neuropsychotherapist, and he was treating teenagers at that time who were suffering with screen addiction and digital dependency. I'd never heard of such a thing, so it was quite unusual, and it upset me, but it interested me as well because of my own relationship with screens and technology and social media. And I began writing songs about it. But as I started researching about whole families and how technology, modern technology, and the pace of it really impacts the relationships we have with each other now, in some ways, in a great way, like now, you and me be able to communicate like this. But for some people, it's hard. And so I guess because I wrote the songs and then I made a film, and then the pandemic came and stopped me from releasing it, I began researching even more and interviewing people on my own podcast. And so out of that, when we start coming out of the pandemic, what I researched and what I created began to be quite useful to people in the health sector and the education sector. And I didn't plan on becoming an advocate for digital well-being, but I guess I have been because of that background and how I live. I don't use a smartphone, so I give a lot of talks about that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I absolutely agree with you. We don't need to be on these all the time. I mean, technology is great. We can connect with each other like what we're doing now, but we don't need to be on social media all the time. It's way too unhealthy. And I think some creators take advantage of that. Why do we think tongues her and all that brain rot stuff is a thing? Because they want to appeal to kids so they can continue using screens. That's why with my siblings, I encourage them to go outside, garden a little bit. Just yesterday, we were gardening. So I deeply admire what you're doing. And I agree that screens can definitely tear families apart. But I think if we use them every now and again and use them for what we're doing now, we could combat that screen dependency.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's a case of finding a balance and being able to turn the dial down on the digital life or up when we need it, but having the control on it. And I think at the moment, other people have the control, and it's not always in the best interests of people like us.
Yeah, exactly. My next question for you is: you have a very impressive album you wrote. The concept is letters from Shakespearean actors that help shape the album's theme of Shakespeare. The album is called Sonnet 155 or 115. where did that concept come from, and what was your favorite letter you received?
Oh gosh. I wanted to make an album that I'm passionate about Shakespeare, and I worked as a composer at Shakespeare's Globe in London when I was 23, and I was surrounded by some very magical people who were working there, and I learned a bit more about Shakespeare than I had done at school, and that kind of made me feel like writing songs that were somehow sharing the wisdom that's in Shakespeare. And so that's why I was still in my 20s, and I thought I didn't want to do it on my own. So I wrote letters to very well-known Shakespearean actors, and I didn't know if they would reply, right? Because you can write a letter, and I wasn't so well known then, and they wrote back to me. I think my favorite letter was, I think maybe Ian McKellen, but all of them: Derek Jacobi, Kenneth Branagh, Pete Postlethwaite, Janet Sussman, all these people that I'd grown up watching mainly on films of Shakespeare, and then a little bit later in the theatre. And I guess because I'm a rock artist mainly, I like making loud music with guitars. So I just wanted to put some of that Shakespeare, weave it into that sound.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's definitely an impressive concept. My next question for you is, what's your advice to anyone, neurodivergent or not, that wants to make it in the music industry?
Well, when you say make it, you mean live a sort of make a living, you mean, as a job?
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. I think if you really want to make it in any industry, I think you have to love what you do, whatever it is, but especially with music, I think you have to love it, because it's a very unpredictable industry now more than ever. It used to change every few years. It changes every few weeks now. And I think it's important that if you have a love for making music and it makes you feel good, then you must hold that intention that you have when you're young, when it makes you feel good, all the way through, no matter what happens along the way. If you make money, if you don't make money, if people love what you do, if people don't, whatever happens outside in the external atmosphere, when your music's coming out of you, you just have to look at the music and yourself and know that that's the important part. And if you do that, I think you'll have a successful experience in the music industry, which goes beyond whether you make a living out of it or not. I've made a living, and I've also not made a living. It's been on and off for many years, but I haven't lost my intention of why I make music, and it's because it's like a friend to me.
And that's something I respect. My last question for you is, do you have anything that you want to promote, and what does the future hold for you?
Oh gosh. At the moment, I'm just about to do the tour of Super Connected, which is the album that's very much about screen dependency and families. And I don't know about promoting it, but I mean, if you're in the UK, I'd love anybody that's interested in the way technology is impacting music and art and theatre in the world at the moment, because it's having such a complicated effect on people. And what we do at the live shows of Super Connected is we kind of put a mirror up to that, and the audiences get a chance to talk about it afterwards, after the concert and the film that we screen. So yeah, I guess I'm going to promote that, because it's a really beautiful experience to be part of for the audience and all the artists involved.
That sounds amazing, and I wish you well on that. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this amazing Autism Digest interview. Thank you so much for Tim for what I can say is the most powerful interview I've done, and one of the most powerful, actually. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Our May issue is out now, so be sure to check that out by going to autismdigest.com. And right now, we're working on getting all of these amazing interviews onto Spotify. Autism Digest. We have 8 on there now, so be sure to go check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.